It's stats time, sponsored by MoveUp. Today's decimal point that I want to bring to your attention is the 500-kilometer unit. It's between these 2 points, and that's generally a 5-hour drive. If we were to compare our 5-hour, well, our country sizes to the United Kingdom, you'll see that our size is fairly larger than the United Kingdom. One would even say we're at least 5 times larger in terms of our land size. The next stat that I want to bring to your attention is our population size. This graph doesn't really do it justice, but we've got a population of 55 million, where the United Kingdom has 66 million. If you think about it, they're in a smaller piece of land with a higher piece of population. That's an interesting context to take in consideration if you were to compare the United Kingdom and South Africa. And then the next stat I want to bring to your attention now is the gross domestic product, which is basically the output of the country. And here you'll see that the United Kingdom far exceeds their output in terms of South Africa's collective output, which is one of the reasons that they are a first world country. It's due to the strong economy that competes on a first world basis.
Quick conclusion.
The country size, you can say about the United Kingdom, they're smaller, and the population size is bigger than South Africa, but so too is their output in their country's performance. The next interesting stat now, what I want to move towards is the COVID-related cases. What's important to note here is these are recorded cases, which in essence means that people have had to go in and get a test done in order to be tallied in this result. And what we can see from that is that a lot more people have done the test and been confirmed to have done COVID versus South Africa. It generally also reflects on the population as a whole. So this is theoretically a representation of what the confirmed amount of infections South Africa has experienced compared to the United Kingdom. So it's not necessarily the most fair representation, because obviously a lot more people in the United Kingdom can afford or have access to the tests than South Africa, but at least you get an overall feeling for the sort of infections that have been confirmed in either country. So South Africa has about a half, even less than a half, of what the United Kingdom has experienced. The next graph that we want to see from there is the total number of recorded or COVID-related deaths. And again, the numbers again reflect what the infection rate, the same sort of implications, in the sense that the UK has experienced close to double the deaths that South Africa has. This is where things get interesting. At the time of recording, which is the 13th of July, 2021, we can see when we look at the new infections that the United Kingdom was actually experiencing a higher wave of infections than South Africa. Continuing on their path, a greater population in a smaller size, they were going through a wave of infections. Now we turn to the new recorded deaths, and for the first time this equation shifts around. The pattern shifts around, and we see that the United Kingdom's death rate is below 10 and South Africa is over 200. That's like a 20 times higher death rate. For every one person that passes away in the United Kingdom due to COVID, 20 people pass away in South Africa. And the only thing different that the United Kingdom has done to South Africa in terms of preventatives is vaccinated its population. So I don't think there's any further need to explain the benefits of COVID. These stats speak for themselves. Hopefully you see value in seeing this from a graphical perspective. Quite interestingly, if you look now in August, our infection rate has gone up higher than the United Kingdom's, and our death rate remains substantially higher than the United Kingdom's. Fortunately, also, it's good to note that the South African government has definitely prioritized the vaccination, so they are looking to resolve this soonest. As always, folks, if you are thinking about heading to the United Kingdom but you're not sure what your options are, MoveUp proudly offers a free assessment. Our assessments not only test the theory on the case, but we also test the practical documents on hand. So what we like to do is not only check in theory if one can qualify. It's easy to say, oh, you have a grandparent, the ancestry visa would apply, but we take it that step further, and free of charge we like to look at your birth certificates or documents on hand in order to not only confirm eligibility, but actually the feasibility of when one can actually apply. And only after the free assessment do we then offer representation in the cases. That's where we talk costs and processing times relevant to the case. Worst case scenario, the documents on hand are not right. Part of our free assessment is to help address solutions on how to get those documents resolved quickest, and that's why folks. We really just want to encourage you, if you are looking at considering your options and also looking to see what would be recognized, please be encouraged, send through your details, and we'll gladly provide that free assessment. Thanks for watching.